Yusuf Nurkic screen to come over. Gets the switch on Valanciunas. 5 to shoot. CJ up top against Morant. Goes to the right. CJ off the glass and first bucket of the game.
Dude can also accelerate to the rim.
Morant drives baseline. Corralled by Nurk. Double teamed by Nurk and Dame. Valanciunas will try a three from outside, and that rolls in. And defensive stances here. Anderson back up top to Brooks. Brooks with 7 to shoot. Gets into the high post. 3 in the corner by Jackson Jr.
Between when the season was suspended to now, because of Nurk and Zach being able to come back, as Melo knocks down. Big deal for them.
Both teams welcoming back a tremendous amount of help as Jackson Jr. puts it on the floor, puts it up, and banks it in. This early on, already 3 of 5 from the field, 2 of those 3-pointers. Zach Collins controls, dumps it off to Nurk, and the big fella with the finish and the foul over Jackson. It'll be interesting how they defend the perimeter. Melo using the white side screen. Melo with the pull-up jumper, gets fouled. He'll head Jackson Jr. outside, tries to work it against Nurk. Nurk with the great footwork. Can't get the 3 to fall. Valanciunas with the offensive rebound, though. Rebounds last time these two teams met back in February. Dame, pitter-patter dribble. Right hand from the left side. The pat. And swats it from behind.
Great help.
Dame working around the Nurk screen. Dame once again, and the Blazer guards have Hazonia checks into the game for Carmelo Anthony. Collins hands off to Gary Trent Jr. Gary Trent Jr. will try a jumper, and that goes in.
His pull-up, the footwork's the same.
Gary Trent Jr. up top on the wing. Hazonia will try his first 3. Gets that to fall, so Martins defends up top. Morant tries to get to the paint. Bounce pass. Valanciunas tries to control. Collins with the contest, and Valanciunas able to roll that one.
To get some stuff going for the Grizzlies.
Grizzlies try to show the trap on Dame. Gary Trent Jr. with some room for a 3, and that falls for the Grizzlies. Anderson, Valanciunas, Brooks, Jackson, and Tolliver. Valanciunas tries to back down. Nurk will try the fadeaway, and Valanciunas
score. He can face up and then get it done scoring, or throw these kind of passes.
And CJ able to get that. Jackson into the game for the first time for Memphis. Dylan Brooks will try a 3, and that falls for the
clear it all.
Nurk up top, hands off to CJ, sets the screen on Brooks. CJ for 3, and CJ McCollum down. Jackson in transition, flies through, but Nurkic sends that one to the sideline, and CJ regains control. Hazonia to the corner. Gary Trent Jr. clip that highlight.
Makes a difference. His teammates feel so much better having him out there, and it makes a difference.
CJ gets things to the game. Morant on the bench for a while for the Grizzlies. For the Blazers, CJ, Carmelo, Yusuf Nurkic, as Melo gets the lay-in. 3 rolls off. Would have been a big momentum swing for the Blazers. They lead by 10, but Nurkic wins up 10. 4:40 left in the second quarter. Jackson feeds it down low to Clark. Clark gets that over Melo. 3:53 left in the second quarter. Blazers up 6. Melo down low against Clark. Little pull-up jumper. How many times have we seen that on the floor? Hazonia helps. Morant kicks it to the corner. Allen with 5 to shoot, up and over Melo, so 8 points. Outdoing the Grizzlies and what the Grizzlies do best. Dame working against Jackson Jr. That right hand.
And it's just a slight pause. Good hands from Melo.
CJ gets the loose ball. Dame on the wing looking for his first 3. Count it. So Dame, get out of here. I want to wheel you out of here as Morant gets the layups.
Fearless, but the Blazers doing enough to deter him.
Blazers whipping it around the outside. Melo gets to the pull-up jumper. That is fine. Blazers up 5, 37 seconds left. CJ working against Jackson Jr. The floater from CJ knocks it down. Morant. Gary Trent Jr. have to applaud the defensive effort in the first half. Morant, indecision in the air, but good feed to Melton for this. Up 5. Dame handles with 5 seconds left. Dame takes it to the middle, kicks it to the corner. Gary Trent Jr. puts the Blazers up 8. Dame brings it down using the Nurkic screen. Gets blitzed by Valanciunas, but Dame, once again for the 3rd time.
Lillard, who does not get the whistle on one end, because he's going to give it to you on the other end.
Zach Collins with 3
everything. One big guarding, the other big coming over and help, and then another big whirling around like a tornado on the other. So just think, Jordan, if the Blazers played the full 82, he would have demolished that record. Oh, that's a nice move.
18 assists on the afternoon for the Blazers. Morant tries to get in the middle. Clark up and over Collins. Little flip shot rolls out. Yusuf Nurkic tries to control it, stripped away. Morant short on the bunny. Jackson Jr. tries to get it. He gets it to fall. So a couple of off to Melton, who now has 2 shoes, and they head back the other way.
Feels like a critical possession for the Blazers to get a stop in Memphis.
I think I shot 40 times in a season at one point in my career. CJ working around the screen. Kicks it over to Nurk. Blazers get a big-time bucket. Man, game with Jackson Jr. Mello defends Morant. Morant sizes up, puts up a 3, and that falls. So Memphis.
That could get Morant more confident in being willing to go ahead and release.
Grizzlies with another steal. Morant up and under, and Memphis. Pump fakes against Allen. Melton gets the loose ball, and back come the Grizzlies. Up top to Morant, and he finishes. And so the Grizzlies using turnovers for Back come the Grizzlies. Morant trying to push the pace, goes behind the back, denied by Whiteside and Collins. CJ dives on the floor for the loose ball. He's able to get it. CJ working against Morant. Gets to the right-hand side, gets past Morant, but that gets denied by Jackson Jr. Allen in transition. Jackson Jr. trailing. And Jackson Jr. too long. Back come the Grizzlies. Melton controls. Grayson Allen wants to join the party with a 3. That falls. And so the Grizzlies starting to fill it up here.
Well, if they're putting pressure on, we're about to really extend this thing out.
Dame working up top, drives to the paint. Gets knocked around, but Whiteside there to finish. Blazers trail the Grizzlies by 9. Just over 1:30 left in the third quarter. Dame trying to work against Tolliver. Shakes him, and Dame rolls in the 3. So the Blazers, after a couple of possessions, are over as part of that double team. Dame jabs at him. Collins on the outside. Collins for 3. Gets that one to fall, so did not go through the cylinder.
You got to give me a warning. That's for mature audiences only.
As Nurkic handles up top. Nurkic. Nice little pass to CJ. CJ with the long 2. Has it eased by 3.5 games in the standings. Tolliver hands off to Brooks. Brooks surveys the defense. Collins able to challenge, but Brooks gets in this game. Nurkic with 3 fouls. Tolliver sets the screen. Morant tries to finish, and he does past Nurkic.
Because Dylan Brooks fought over the top of it.
Morant tries to flip that up with the left hand against Nurkic. Working down low against Jackson Jr. Tries to back him in. Nurk flips it up off the glass.
Nice, nice. This is a must-win game for us.
Morant up top. Tries to find Clark with the lob. He's able to get it over Collins. And it's going to be a technical on the Grizzlies. High post. Nurk and Dame work the 2-man game. CJ up top against Morant. 5 to shoot. CJ gets into the lane. Tough floater rolls. 3:20 left. Collins up top. Gets it to Nurk. Nurk looking for a teammate to get open. Nice. Fakes the handoff, and Yusuf Nurk dribbles it back out. Kicks it over to the side. Jackson Jr. puts it on the floor. Tries to get through, and he finishes with the left hand and the foul.
Wow, that's a big time.
Dame uses the screen from Collins. Kicks it over to CJ. CJ tries to weave it to Collins. Collins, Mello from the corner. 3 to the dome in the battle back to take the lead with 1:15 left. Grizzlies, they look to answer. Gary Trent Jr. Tough shot by 14 to shoot. Dame working against Brooks. Gets to the paint. Pass out to CJ. Mello with another corner 3. That's good. So Carmelo Anthony. Morant
go quick.
Tries to go through the lane. Gets bobbled by a couple of Blazers. Clark gets the loose ball to CJ up top with Brooks defending. Gets the Collins screen. CJ finds some separation and rains in a huge 3. Lead by 6. Just over 3 minutes left in overtime. Dame using all the fundamentals to get to the rim and use CJ against Brooks. 5 to shoot. CJ step back 3. Splash Mountain, baby. Blazer. John Morant defended out top by Mello. Jackson Jr. in the corner. And the Grizzlies have started to go cold. Clark. Able shooter goes 50% right there. And the pass by Mello is errant. Morant recovers. Jackson Jr. for 3. And that connects. So now the team's in the penalty. Morant races it down the court. Defended by Gary Trent Jr. Mello feints at it. Gary Trent Jr. sends that to the floor. Wave the white flag, and the Blazers get a huge victory to start the first of 8 seeding games. They battle back from down nearly double.